You're 23 years old when you first step into a cage, not to fight, to watch, to judge, to make split-second decisions that will haunt you for years. You think you love mixed martial arts? You think you understand violence? You think you're ready to be the third man in, the one who stands between chaos and catastrophe? You're wrong about everything. It starts innocently enough. You're a martial arts nerd, a fight fan who's watched every UFC event since the beginning. You know the rules better than most fighters. You spot fouls before the commentators. You critique referee performances from your couch like you could do better. Someone at your local gym mentions they need officials for amateur shows. $20 a fight, they say. Easy money, they say. You figure, why not? Your first amateur show is in a hotel ballroom in nowhere, Iowa. The cage is borrowed, the corners are duct-taped, and the fighters are kids who learned everything they know from YouTube. You're nervous, but you tell yourself it's just amateur hour. How hard could it be? Then the first fight starts, and suddenly you're responsible for two human beings trying to destroy each other. The kid in red trunks throws a wild overhand right. The kid in blue drops like he's been shot. You freeze. For just a second, you freeze. That second feels like an hour. You dive in, wave it off, and pray you didn't just let someone get permanently damaged on your watch. The kid in blue doesn't get up right away. He's conscious, but he's not getting up. The crowd is booing because they wanted more violence. The corner is screaming because they think you stopped it too early. The promoter is glaring because early stoppages don't sell tickets. You're 23 years old, and you just realized you were going to spend the rest of your career making decisions that nobody will ever thank you for. You keep taking fights because you need the money and because deep down you still believe in the sport. You believe in protecting fighters. You believe in fair play. You believe that good officiating matters. You start studying tape, attending seminars, learning from veteran refs who've been doing this since before the unified rules existed. They tell you horror stories about fighters who died in the ring, about commissions that don't give a damn about safety, about promoters who threaten your livelihood if you don't let their golden boy get away with murder. You work your way up from hotel ballrooms to legitimate venues. You start getting regional shows, then bigger regional shows. You're making more money now, but the pressure is suffocating. Every fight is filmed now. Every decision is scrutinized by thousands of keyboard warriors who've never stepped foot in a gym. They slow down your split-second decisions frame by frame and call you incompetent. They find your social media and tell you to kill yourself. They create conspiracy theories about why you favor certain fighters or certain camps. The athletic commission starts noticing your work. They invite you to referee state-level shows. This is it, you think? This is your chance to make a real difference. You start working fights with actual prospects, future contenders, guys who might actually make it to the big show. The stakes are higher now. A bad stoppage doesn't just ruin a fighter's night, it can end their career. You start losing sleep. You replay every fight in your head, you second-guess every decision. You wonder if you should have let that guy take 3 more shots. You wonder if you jumped in too soon and robbed him of a comeback. Then it happens, the moment that changes everything. A fighter takes a hard shot and wobbles. He's hurt, but he's still standing, still fighting back. You're watching his eyes, looking for that telltale sign that he's gone. He throws a counterpunch that misses by 3 feet. That's it. You step in. The crowd erupts in boos. The fighter argues with you. His corner argues with you. The commentators argue with you. Social media explodes. The slow-motion replay shows him throwing the counter, and suddenly you're the villain who robbed everyone of a potential comeback. But here's what they don't show in slow motion. The way his legs were shaking. The way his eyes weren't tracking. The way he was 3 seconds away from taking permanent damage. You saved his career, maybe his life, and they hate you for it. This is the job? This is what you signed up for? To be hated for doing the right thing. You keep climbing the ladder because that's what you do. You referee bigger fights, more important fights. You work title fights at the regional level. You start getting noticed by the bigger promotions. The money gets better, but the scrutiny gets worse. Every fight is broadcast live. Every decision is analyzed by former fighters turned commentators who never had to make these calls themselves. They sit in their comfortable broadcast booth and critique your work, while you re-in there with two trained killers who are trying to take each other's heads off. The phone call comes on a Tuesday. The big promotion wants to talk to you. They fly you out to Las Vegas, put you up in a nice hotel, and offer you a contract. You're going to be officiating fights that millions of people will watch. You're going to be working with the best fighters in the world. This is what you've been working toward for 8 years. You should be excited. Instead, you're terrified. Your first big show is a disaster? Not because you did anything wrong, but because you did everything right. You stop a fight in the second round when a fighter gets rocked and can't defend himself. It's a textbook stoppage. Clean, necessary, protective. The problem is that the fighter who got stopped is a fan favorite, a company man, someone the promotion has invested millions in. The crowd wants blood. The commentators want drama. The internet wants controversy. You gave them safety, and they crucify you for it. The promotion doesn't renew your contract. They don't tell you why, but, you made the right call at the wrong time. You protected a fighter when they needed you to protect their investment. You're blacklisted from the biggest stage in the sport for doing your job correctly. This is when you realize that being a good referee and being a successful referee are two completely different things. You go back to the regional circuit. Back to smaller shows, smaller paychecks, smaller audiences. But the damage is done. Every fighter knows your name now. Every fan has an opinion about you. You're the guy who stops fights too early. You're the guy who doesn't understand heart. You're the guy who ruins moments. You keep working because you still believe in what you're doing, but the joy is gone. The passion is replaced by paranoia. Every fight feels like a trap. Every decision feels like a mistake waiting to happen. The fighters start treating you differently. They complain to the commission about your assignments. They request different referees. They make jokes about you in interviews. These are people you've protected, people whose careers you've saved, and they treat you like the enemy, because in their minds, you are. You're the one who can end their dreams with a wave of your hand. You're the one who stands between them and glory. You're the necessary evil they have to tolerate. You start noticing things about yourself that scare you. You're more hesitant to stop fights. You let fighters take more damage than you should because you're afraid of the backlash. You're compromising your principles to protect your reputation, and it's eating you alive. You watch a fighter take 3 unnecessary shots because you're terrified of being called soft. You go home that night and can't look at yourself in the mirror. The commission starts questioning your decisions. They review your performances, critique your timing, suggest you might want to consider other career options. These are the same people who hired you, who praised your work, who told you that you were one of the best young referees in the business. Now they're hanging you out to dry because the internet doesn't like you, because the fighters don't like you, because the promoters don't like you. You're good at your job, but good isn't enough. You need to be liked, and you're not. You keep working smaller shows, hoping to rebuild your reputation. You're 42 years old now, and you're refereeing fights in high school gymnasiums for $50 a night. You've seen everything. You've stopped fights that needed to be stopped. You've let fights continue that should have been stopped. You've made mistakes that kept you awake for weeks. You've made perfect calls that nobody remembers. You've saved lives and been hated for it. You've protected careers and been blamed for ending them. The fighters you started with are coaches now. They're training the next generation, telling them about the old days, about the refs who used to care about safety over spectacle. They never mention you by name, but, they're talking about you. You're the cautionary tale, the referee who cared too much. The official who forgot that fighting is entertainment first and sport second. You start thinking about retirement. Your body is breaking down from years of stress. Your marriage ended because you were never home, and when you were too stressed to be good company. Your kids know you as the guy who misses dinner to watch strangers beat each other up. You've sacrificed everything for a job that nobody appreciates in a sport that doesn't care about you, but you can't quit. Not yet? Because despite everything, you still believe in what you're doing? You still believe that good officiating matters? You still believe that someone needs to stand between the fighters and the people who would exploit them? You still believe that protection is more important than entertainment? You're probably the only one who still believes these things, but you believe them anyway. You keep taking fights because someone has to. Someone has to make the hard calls. Someone has to be the bad guy. Someone has to care more about the fighters than the fans. Someone has to be willing to be hated for doing the right thing. That someone is you. It's always been you. It will always be you. The worst part about being an MMA referee isn't the death threats or the social media hate. It's not the low pay or the lack of respect. It's not the pressure or the scrutiny or the impossible standards. The worst part is that you love it. You love the sport, you love the fighters, you love the competition, you love being part of something bigger than yourself. You love it even when it doesn't love you back. You love it even when it tries to destroy you. You love it even when it succeeds. That's why it sucks to be an MMA referee. Because it takes everything from you, your reputation, your relationships, your peace of mind, your sense of self-worth. It gives you just enough purpose to keep going, just enough meaning to make the sacrifice seem worthwhile. And then it dares you to keep caring. And if you're stupid enough, stubborn enough, passionate enough to make it through, it asks for more. But you give it, you always give it. And if you had to do it all again, you would, because someone has to. And that someone is you?